Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Design with Grimes. I'm Jordan Grimes. This is a space where I talk about my design projects, perspectives, and my process as well. You can see me online at J7Grimes or check out my work, jordangrimes.work. We got a very fun episode for you today. It's going to be NFL helmet based, and I am not alone. And the the fellow I have on today, the man, the myth, the designer, Brandon Moore, is joining me to talk about NFL helmets. You can check out his work, his Twitter at Be More Creative, without the E, and then his website, bmcreative.net as well. Brandon's on. How are you doing today?
Doing well, man. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. It's been a little bit, and I'm excited about some of the content we'll be putting together, which the topic today, again, is going to be the 2022 NFL alternate helmet. So we have our own branding as designers. I've got this cool Axiom Riddell template, so I matched it all together to put our spin on it. So are you ready to print your own helmet here, Brandon? I think yours is looking pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Let's make it happen. So very fun topic today. Let's actually get into it a little bit, but taking one step back in terms of these NFL alternate helmets, there's a new rule that was lifted or put into place. So there was a one shell ban on the NFL. So teams could only wear one helmet for the whole season, and that was lifted. So teams now, they have the flexibility to wear more than one helmet throughout the whole season. And so once I heard that, I had to create some content around that. There was a rumor of up to 15 teams that might do this. And so I have a whole episode. You can go check it out on me putting together 15 different options for teams doing an alternate helmet. I went from a range of retros to new and all that kind of stuff. But I bring that up because some of these actually came to fruition a little bit. So if we look on the top left, you have the Falcons, the Cowboys, and then the Bengals and the Patriots as well. Out of the lineup I put together, those are actually going to happen. But then there are also a couple that were real but different spin on it. So an example in the top right is the Carolina Panthers. They went with a black helmet versus a blue helmet like I wanted, and some other ones that are happening here. So here's the text lineup for all the helmets. So I put them in a couple of different categories. So in terms of a true alternate helmet, I have the Commanders and the Saints. For teams going with a throwback helmet, I have the Patriots, Giants, Falcons, and Cowboys. And then teams that just kind of went with just a color update, I went with the Texans, Bears, Eagles, Cardinals, Bengals, Jets, and the Panthers. And here's a visual lineup of all 13 helmets. They were kind of sporadic in terms of releasing them this offseason, Brandon, but I didn't realize this many would actually happen. What is your holistic perspective and view on these alternate helmets happening?
Yeah, I guess this is kind of the new the Thursday night thing, the color rush. So since since they ended that, I feel like they needed something new. They needed a new uniform, new helmet, something. So I guess this is the new that.
Sure.
So we it almost looks like it caught some teams off guard, like they didn't quite know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we get a lot of black and white alternates.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I can see that. And yeah, I think there were some surprises for me, and we'll get into this later with the actual helmet stuff in terms of teams. But yeah, the Bears, I didn't think a historic franchise like the Bears were actually going to do anything, but I guess it makes sense and all that stuff from their rationale. And it's a new opportunity, like you said, a new piece of merchandise to sell and all those things. The NFL is itching for another new thing, like you said, since that color rush back in on Thursday nights. But it's funny is that some of these teams actually, matched this color helmet with their faux color rush stuff, either the whole thing or maybe it's just the jersey top. Example being the Texans having that red helmet and possibly the red jersey. But so excited to talk about this.
Right. So is the throwback uniform still in play? So like for the Bears, they'll wear their regular blue helmets.
Yeah.
Reskin it with the graphics and wear the throwback.
So for the orange one, you mean, or which one? Or which
no, like the 32 throwback uniform.
Those 1936 ones?
Yeah. Can they still wear that and also have the alternate orange helmet for like a second alternate uniform?
I would assume so. And that's something that I haven't gotten information on. So as we know, the NFL is strict on what uniforms you can wear, how many times you can wear them. Coincidentally, the Bears just released their uniform schedule today, so I'm going to watch out for more content about that. But I believe teams will have the flexibility to, one, yes, change the helmet with whichever uniform if they're going to wear multiple times. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing every time, but also something that I found interesting with the Cowboys, we'll get into that when we get to the actual pages. I was referencing one of the helmets from their photo shoot, and it had the gray face mask, but the player photo shoot had the white face mask, and you'll see my mock-up here has the gray one. I think that they're actually going to have this helmet with a gray face mask and another with the white in terms of another uniform set for a different game. So I think there's some flexibility there.
So maybe because they've been wearing their color rush, so maybe it's like they do the throwback for one game, and then they do the color rush for another game with the same helmet and
exactly.
swapping.
Yeah, so I think there's flexibility there, and it's exciting because, like I said, there's a limit of you can only wear a couple alternate uniforms throughout the year. So I'm not sure where the helmet fits into that, if it's true, or even thinking past that, do teams have to wear these teams, do they have to wear their alternate helmets for 5 or so years? I think that's the uniform cycle that the NFL restricts you to, is like 5 years of you not being able to change stuff. Can they change helmets every year? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of the details. They just kind of dropped this on us and was like, "Hey, this is what they got for the time being."
Like I said, people are buying it. They're not going to complain, and I'm sure they probably will lift that in terms of restrictions. They'll probably give teams maybe the chance to change things every year if they really wanted to. But I'm sure the manufacturers might be like, "Okay, let's simplify this." We'll see what happens. Yeah, big times. A lot of stuff to be figured out with this, but a couple of these that did not happen this year, but are rumored to happen either this upcoming year or seasons after that, are the Denver Broncos, Philadelphia Eagles, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. And I believe that these did not happen this year due to manufacturing delays and other things, either helmet manufacturing problems or whole uniform manufacturing problems. An example is the Kelly Green Philadelphia Eagles helmet here. You can't wear that with a regular top and bottom that they have throughout the year. Like, they wouldn't look right. The fan base would they would fire the team and all those things. There would be an uproar. And so that's something interesting to watch after this year of, do these things happen, or do other throwback or alternates come into play once some of those things become easier to maintain?
Yeah. Interesting that it might be something with the uniform, because the Bucks and Eagles have worn those throwbacks before, but it's been a long time. So there might be some more manufacturing updates that they need to go through.
Exactly. So Rydell or Nike, if you're listening, leave a comment or message one of us, right? But it'll be interesting. And I know a lot of teams, there's been a run of retro uniforms going for teams, and even some teams adopting things like the Colts in terms of their numerals, going with that block retro style all the time as opposed to whatever. I'm sure the Miami Dolphins, as you know, would be very happy to go with their retros that are beautiful and all that kind of stuff. Big time. So we're going to do and run through all 13 teams here quickly, and then at the end we're actually going to rank what the best alternate helmet is and what the worst one is, and that'll be a live demonstration walkthrough, so that'll be fun. But before that, we'll give just quick notes on each one. And Brandon, you and I met earlier this year talking about the Commanders and their rebrand, their refresh of their visual identity, or their team identity, really. And this was a part of it, having this alternate uniform. And technically, the Commanders were the first team to reveal an alternate helmet after that ban was lifted on the one shell rule. So what they went with was a black glossy shell. They have the W logo happening on the frontal lobe here, and then they got the player number and the stencil font on the left and right side of the helmet. So that's what they're rolling with their alternate helmet. What do you think about this one?
I think the black uniform is their best of the bunch, which is kind of interesting that it's their alternate, but this one works better. There's some good consistency and color application throughout the uniform. It seems like this one was kind of like they had more time to put this together or put more thought into it or something. It's still I still don't associate it with anything because it's so new.
Yes,
Um,
true.
so maybe over time it kind of grows on me a little bit more, but aesthetically, it's definitely
Mhm.
their best option.
Yeah, maybe we'll learn to love it. And I think what was going for them probably through the design process is the previous branding that they had when they had to go more neutral on the helmets. I believe that they did go with the player number on the side of the helmets and just a gold and then the maroon helmet. That's what they did. So they kind of called back to that here, in addition to having the logo just right on the front of the helmet there, which I believe they're the only team that kind of, yeah, that did that in terms of placement. So we'll see how
Mhm.
it looks on the field though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Big time. That's the Commanders. The second helmet here are the New Orleans Saints. So they also went with a black helmet, and they're going to be pairing it with their white retro throwback jersey, which just uniform in general. And I think that's a really good look. Not as much of a fan in terms of the helmet. If they would have just left it and having the Florida Lee on the side and nothing else, I'd be like, okay, this might be a top alternate helmet that you can pair, like we are talking about before, multiple times with other uniforms. But then they went and added this. I'm going to call it the Seahawks stripe. The
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks did this first in terms of having this tapered pattern stripe happening down the middle there. So I think there's some pros and cons of this one. But what do you think about the Saints?
Yeah, it looks like a helmet to a different uniform for one. And
True.
then that stripe in the middle, it just looks tacky because it's glossy. And then the rest of the helmet is matte.
Yes.
And oh man, that just looks awful.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
know.
really looks awful. And I
Yeah.
don't think I guess they're using their primary gold in the logos here on the helmet,
Yep.
but then they have their vintage gold through the uniform.
Yeah.
That's not doing them any favors. So this was another one where it was like I don't know if they knew what to do with this alternate
Mhm.
helmet
I think,
idea.
yeah, and I think it was like, I think they had some ideas in terms of referring back to previous uniforms or history and other things. But I think maybe what happened was they took one or two steps too much. What I mean by that is the stripe idea. They probably looked at just the Florida Lee on the side and they're like, this is too bland, too blank. We need to add something else. And then someone, cocked up the idea. All right, let's add this this big
Yeah.
pattern down the middle.
Yeah, it was, maybe they initially was like, we'll wear this with our primary black jersey
Yeah.
and gold pants or something. And
Mhm.
and that's what the helmet looks like it belongs to. But then at the
Yeah.
last minute, they were like, hey, everybody loves the color rush.
Yeah.
Let's put the new helmet with that. And yeah, just didn't work.
Tomato, tomato, right? Let's pair this with this. It'll be fine. No
Yeah.
way, but we'll see what they end up actually pairing this with on the field. Next one is going to be the New England Patriots. So they went straight throwback retro. There's no frills about it. I'm sure the fan base loves it. I think it's a really good look with this white helmet. You got it's not the flying Elvis logo. What's this? The hiking Elvis or what do they call this
Um,
mascot of theirs?
Pat Patriot.
Pat, I knew there was a Pat Patriot. There he
Yeah.
is. And so Pat's looking good on the side here. You got the white shell, white face mask, all the striping down the middle, and even it's pairing well with this red jersey. I'm assuming white pants and all that kind of stuff. So I think overall their jersey is going to look good. Do you think they got this one right?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look at a photo from the 80s to make sure all the details are right. But the last time they were wearing this throwback or this helmet, it was it was the 1960s version.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so now with the white face mask and that helmet stripe,
Mhm.
this is more of an 80s
Got
era.
it. Because there is an option with the gray one. Is that correct? Gray face mask.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mhm.
Yeah, the 60s had the gray face mask and a different stripe.
Got it.
So I think they're going for the 80s look here. So
Yeah.
I think they pretty much nailed it. I've never liked a team called the Patriots wearing a red jersey. That seems like
Okay.
the last thing you should do
Yeah.
as the Patriots, the Boston Patriots or the New England Patriots
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to become the Redcoats. But
I, sure.
um, but
Contradictions there.
aesthetically, it's a pretty popular uniform. It has been in the past.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, when you just give the people what they want, it'll be fine. In terms of, I'm sure a lot of people were asking for it, and so we'll end up and see what's going on with their. Sorry, just looking at the bumper of the helmet there, in
Yeah.
the middle. It's like a very generic. It almost looks like a printout of whatever. Like it looks like it was a last second addition to the deal. It's like very sans serif. I don't know, stock,
Yeah.
like the font didn't match or something. I don't know. It caught my eye for a second.
They updated their word mark a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe this is a different one. Gosh, I
Sure.
feel like kind of out of the loop because I never watched the Patriots.
Mhm.
I just despise this
Yeah,
team.
who
So
wants to watch them?
I don't know what they're up
Yeah,
to.
I mean they lose all the time. Who wants to watch a loser?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another throwback that I'm sure the fan base is very excited about. I know a couple buddies that they're very excited about the Falcons getting this one right. So went with a true retro throwback here, red shell, gray face mask, all the striping, throwback logo and all that. Going to be pairing with the black uniform, block numbers and all that. I'm assuming they're going to wear this probably a couple times. And with the failure of what the Falcons did to themselves with their refresh of their uniforms, this is going to be a sight for sore eyes when they roll this out. But what's your perspective?
Yeah, I think the next iteration of their uniform will be influenced by this
Yeah.
and their I guess what is technically a throwback of the 90s version.
Yeah.
But I've always liked this one pretty well.
Mhm.
I kind of like that detail of the gold stripe.
Yes, that's a little thing that you could easily have drop off or forget about. But again, I know a
Yeah.
couple buddies. They're like, yes, they got the gold in there. It is just like the smallest thing, but it looks good and
Yeah.
it's in the
So
details.
they've got all the Georgia colleges in there, Georgia State and Georgia University of Georgia. So they got all their colors. Uh,
Represent.
yeah. So I've never loved this logo. This is
Sure.
like a terrible logo, but at least they're being true to this 1966 uniform. And I wonder if they will like pair this helmet with
Yeah.
their current alternate jersey with
Oh,
the
please, no. Oh no.
yeah, they'll
I
do something crazy like that, right?
I'd like to see it just for how bad it would look, but I mean, we'll see what they end up actually doing. Another one, look at this sight for sore eyes on this Giants bad boy here. And so, again, another one that I'm sure the fan base is very happy with just because they're just giving the people what they want. They're getting the details right. And what I mean by that is you have this darker navy shell paired with the uniform having a lighter shade of blue. And this is true to, I forget, maybe 80s, 90s in terms of the years, but they're getting this right. And so I love that they didn't just color match it and those kinds of things. They stuck to it. It's enough contrast to where it looks purposeful and not a mistake. And they got the red stripe going, they got the white face mask. And I know they also have a white jersey with the same block numbers and striping and other things that this one, I think you can swap in and out. And hey, you
Yeah.
got a winner here.
Yeah, they are really have been kind of going back to the 80s, 90s look
Mm-hmm.
the last few years, introducing the white pants and
Yes.
yeah, I mean they nailed this one. That looks almost like Phil Sims there in the photo. So um
Yeah.
my hot take on this uniform though is it's
Okay.
the most generic football uniform ever made.
If
Like there's nothing unique about it, right? It's the
true.
block number that's outlined in a color. You've
Yes.
got those basic sleeve stripes.
Yep.
Um, the logo is just the team name spelled out.
Yeah.
It's almost like a a football movie uniform that you
Oh,
just
okay. Yeah. Just that stock
it's
template and
just
they
like
roll with it.
yeah, it's just like what you do as for a football uniform. They've nailed all of the traditional key elements
Yeah.
of a football uniform, and there's nothing really unique to it. Like the Bills in the early 90s are very, very similar,
Beat
but
me to it.
at least their logo is like really unique and really cool. Looks great on the side of a helmet, and it's not just Bills
Well, yeah,
spelled out.
true. What I was gonna say was if you took the helmet off, put Josh Allen in this in 17 in this same font that the
Yeah,
Giants are using, I'm like, oh, that's just a more generic Bills uniform, like literally, it's a
right.
blue, red, white type of deal. And yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, it's kind of stock, but we'll see what
I
the yeah.
I probably upset all the Giants fans, but
Hey.
I've never I've never dug this uniform. I feel like their current primary is way
Yeah.
better than this.
Well, good thing it is that's an alternate. They won't be rolling it out more than a couple times and all that. And yeah, I talked about the Cowboys earlier. So here's the page on them. So white shell, blue star, got the striping down the helmet. I have the gray face mask in my template, but as you can see to the right, the player has the white face mask. And I think again, they're going to wear this helmet twice, once with the gray, the other time with the white. And I think they play on Thanksgiving per usual. And I forget which face mask they're going to wear then. I think the gray one. But regardless, they're pairing it with that white throwback jersey. And yeah, what a clean color and combination here.
Yeah, at least this helmet looks like it goes with that jersey, and it wasn't,
Yes,
designed together. So
exactly.
they've it's funny, that's like their original helmet from the 60 whatever they were established.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it goes pretty well with their Color Rush jersey. So this is a cool alternate. At least it kind of makes sense. I've never been a huge fan of like this double outline number, but on this jersey, I think it kind of works better where everything's just blue and white, just no
Yes.
silver.
Like you said, it gets to that point of being a little bit unique, not just simple, solid numbers, stroke outline. It gives that little gap. And again, you can see the helmet stripe in this picture with the number. And I think, like you said, it all gels together. It looks uniform.
I think in this photo,
Hmm.
the logo has the double stripes on it too. I think
Oh,
I
you're
can
right.
barely make out.
No, you're
Yeah,
right. And that could be me not having the right star on the helmet, but also, yeah, I think yeah, you're right. It does have that double stroke there. So
yeah.
yeah, you're right. And in you can see the
So, and then
gray
they
on the
have
side.
that on the shoulder of the jersey,
Yes.
and then the double stroke on the numbers. Yeah, this is a strong uniform.
Okay, I like that. Moving on to it.
Consistency,
Yeah,
consistency in how they treat the elements, right? So,
correct,
yeah.
correct. Moving on to a division rival, the faux Philadelphia Eagles here. So, like I said before, the Eagles wanted to do a color green rollout, but what they actually opted to do this year is going to be a black helmet with the same helmet decal of the wing with the black face mask. And I'm assuming they're going to be pairing it with their black jersey, maybe black pants as well. I'm not sure, but black jersey nonetheless, I would assume. Maybe they don't, maybe they do. I don't think that's
Yeah.
been revealed, but what do you think about this look?
Yeah, I guess NFL teams are kind of falling back on that late 90s thing of just all black.
Yeah,
I
yes.
guess it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's fairly easy. You can't really go wrong, and nothing looks bad if you make it all black. But
Mhm.
I don't know. It's not the Eagles. Like
Yeah,
you want to see the Eagles in green in some way, but um, I don't know. I would say I just don't have too strong of an opinion. It's
yeah.
fine.
It's yeah, it's literally just the helmet color change, which the green is already really dark anyway. So we'll see what actually difference it makes on the field, So, but it's for 1 year, we know that, and
Yeah,
at least they tried. Start for that.
yeah, yeah.
Another black helmet, a little bit different. They're going to have a red fleck speckle in there, but I went with a warm black in my mock-up on the left. You can see the true representation on the right. They're the only team, the Phoenix, Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals. They were the only team that actually wore their alternate helmet this preseason. So we actually got to look at
Yeah.
how it looks on the field and what jersey they could wear with it and how it pairs. But you have the black red fleck shell logo without the white key line, so it blends and bleeds into the actual shell, and then a matching face mask as well. And then yeah, as we can see, the black jersey paired with it. So a little bit different, not just black for black's sake, but they went one step further with the fleck detail that you can't see unless you got a nice photo of it up close. You can't see it from watching at home.
Yeah. That's the Falcons.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
There you go. Yeah,
it
tell it
looks
how
like
it
the
is.
Falcons. Um, there are sometimes, if a logo disappears into a helmet a little bit, like the Panthers,
Yes.
it can work and it looks cool and kind of like it's shadowy, but on this one, the logo just kind of gets lost and it's hard
Yeah,
to read.
I
Um,
agree. And even
yeah,
go
I
on.
don't think a black helmet was the way to go here, or if they were going to go black, maybe put numbers on the side of the helmet or something. But yeah, it's the Falcons. This is the
Yeah,
Falcons.
yeah, I agree. Crazy stuff. The Jets. I'm gonna roll through the next ones here. I want to also get to um our magic, or geez, our pick 'em,
Yeah, yeah.
our best to worst, whatever. And I think we'll have maybe 5 minutes for that. But anyway, the Jets here. So the New York Jets, they have black in their new branding and all that. So I think it was a matter of time before they actually brought a black helmet into the fold. They went with the chrome green face mask though, so points for that. But otherwise, you're pairing it with their black uniform, at least a black top. So uh black for the Jets. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like the Commanders. It reminds me a lot of the Commanders, where this alternate is probably their best
Hmm.
design of the three uniforms, but
Hmm.
um, it's kind of unbelievable. They put a green logo on a black helmet, and like the
Yeah,
Falcon, or like the
yeah,
Cardinals,
Cardinals.
the
Yeah,
logo disappears. Um, yeah, man, I don't like it. I don't want to like bash it too hard, but
yeah,
I'll just say it's not my favorite.
yeah. No, I agree with you there. Not my favorite. Could have done more or not do anything at all. But anyway, we were talking about the Panthers earlier, and they also went with a black helmet. But I think the black and blue motif going on for the Carolina Panthers here works in terms of pairing it with that. Maybe a whole blackout kit, as you can see to the right here. And so you have the black jersey, black pants, black, the whole leotard look, right, or whatever. And so you get the same logo, but black shell, black face mask, and the blue stripes. So two-tone helmet, black and blue here.
Yeah, this always made sense to me for the Panthers to go all black.
Yeah.
And I like the logo, like on the uniform, just
Mhm.
no outline, just kind of the blue and silver parts are popping out as they need. Or well, I guess on the helmet, it's all blue. There is no
Oh,
silver in
you're
the
right.
logo.
Yeah, they actually don't have. Yep, you're right. It's all
So
blue.
they've that's where it starts to lose some consistency, lose some unity, because it needs some white in the helmet. They need to treat those stripes in a similar way as they have on the jerseys, and it's you can't really tell from this photo, but they have the
Mhm.
worst TV numbers.
Oh my gosh, I think I did maybe a whole episode of that. No, you're right. They're like
Yeah,
I there's digital artists out there that miniaturize players with a big head and all that, and I'm like,
yeah.
what's going? Are they playing around with us here or whatever? But no, it's legitimate. It's gnarly. If you haven't seen it, audience, check out just YouTube, or sorry, Google Panthers TV numbers, uniforms, whatever, and it's just absurd. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can just look at Christian McCaffrey's jerseys, and
Yes.
um, yeah, they just need to do away with those TV numbers.
Yeah, even as recent as this year, the Baker Mayfield, I saw one shot from this preseason that it's like, yeah, it's this big, and so it's just don't have them at all if you're going to do, like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I think we had a couple more here. The Houston Texans. So same logo. They went with a candy red shell navy face mask, and I would assume they're going to pair it with their part of their color rush uniform, that alternate red jersey and white pants. And so no full pictures yet, but I have the helmet on the right, and then I'm assuming what would be the uniform below it, behind it as well. But pretty gnarly logo, right?
I love the logo. It's one of my favorite logos in sports.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if they do the red jersey, how this metallic red
Yep.
helmet looks with the jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes you get a jersey and a helmet that's the same color, but it's not quite right, and it doesn't have that cool, interesting flavor like the Giants does with the
Yeah.
blues
Just about to say.
match. It just looks wrong, and
Yep.
I think this might be one of those instances where the difference in the helmet and the jersey kind of becomes annoying.
Yep.
But if I would hope they wear the blue jersey or the white jersey with
Blue
the
and
red
white.
helmet.
Yeah, the white would look really good.
Yeah, because that otherwise the helmet looks great in red, I think.
Yeah, I think if you get that white jersey, maybe give back and have red pants, or maybe blue, whatever. But yeah, I think pairing it, give it some contrast between the helmet and at least that jersey would help out for this one.
Yeah, right on.
Talking about color on color, my Chicago Bears, I didn't think they're going to do it, but they pulled it off. And the crazy stuff here. But the Chicago Bears, they have worn this alternate orange jersey uniform for a bit with the blue helmet, the regular blue helmet. But this year, as we can see, they're going to be pairing it with an orange helmet. So you get the orange shell. They're keeping the navy face mask. You have the two-tone wishbone C logo, navy base, white key line around there. And like you were saying before, color match, at least in this photo, isn't as good just because of material differences. You have a glossy helmet versus fabric that's in orange, right? And so we'll see what it looks like on the field. We're going to be wearing it twice this year. The first game, I believe, within 2 weeks apart. And one of the games is right before or on Halloween. So excited to get in the spirit and all that. It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
But I've got a whole video on it, so check that out on my channel. But what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think they've done a good job of matching the helmet shell with the jersey. It looks like they probably went through a few iterations to get it right.
Yeah, sure.
Just going off by the studio shot.
Yep.
So I guess I'm fine with this. Looking at how they've treated the logo being blue with the white outline, it matches the stripes on the jersey, and then the numbers are reflected. And
Yeah.
Overall, I think it's fine. If you want to do this whole orange look, but
Yeah.
they have so many other uniforms that I like better than this.
Sure.
So I really hope they're still able to wear the 36 uniform.
Yeah. They're going to be wearing that once this year. I forget the team. I want to say, the uniform schedule just came out today, but they're going to be wearing it once, and it's going to be just like last year in terms of that helmet, the navy helmet, 3 stripes, 3 orange stripes, and that jersey and all that. So I'm excited about that game. I think Giants. I forget. No, I don't think it's Giants. No, maybe it is. I think it is the Giants, and I think the Giants are wearing their throwback, that one that we talked about. So it's going to be a good look on the field. I can't wait for that one. Oh man.
Right on. Yeah.
Cool. Last one, the Cincinnati Bengals. These Bengals, man, even before teams could do this alternate helmet look, so many graphic designers out there were mocking this up. And to their benefit, I agree with it. It's a slam dunk in terms of taking their current idea of a helmet with the orange base and black stripes and just taking it and having the white base and black stripes and pairing it with that white uniform that they have. So the black face mask, it's all looking good. Some orange detail in the jersey and probably the pants as well, but got that white tiger look.
Yeah, I think this is one you could tell where the uniform was made for the orange helmet, because it ties to the orange helmet a little bit better with the orange around the numbers.
Agreed.
So I wish for this uniform they would just drop all the orange and go black and white.
Yes, I agree. Maybe in a couple of years when they're able to do that, or maybe the NFL will be nice and let them get that signature look. I think, it just looks off having bits of orange, but nothing happening more or less in the helmet. I mean, sure, you might have the bumper that has a shade of orange, but it's not enough to really marry the two things, right?
Yeah, maybe they should have done like an orange face mask for this or something.
Ooh, don't get me started.
Just to put a little bit of,
maybe I wouldn't mind. I would like to see it to really get a
color, or maybe it'd be interesting to kind of flip their primary uniform so it's white helmet, black jersey, orange pants. I wonder how that would kind of work out, where it's like this upside down color scheme.
There you go. Flip it a little bit. I think they got options. I think a lot of people will be happy with this one when it hits the field, but maybe they'll make some alterations once they actually see it, but great, good stuff. Brandon, I ran out of time, but I think I'll close this out, but maybe we have a separate episode ranking worst to best like I wanted to, and we could have a whole separate episode so we can take the time to go through and really critique and analyze ourselves on this. But I can't wait to see these on the field. That's the test. You can see these photo shoots so they look perfect and photoshopped and other things, but when you see it on the field, that's going to be the true test. I want to thank you, Brandon, for joining me today, but also thank you. Check out my work at jordangrimes.work and see me online at J7Grimes. Any last words, Brandon?
No, that's all.
Perfect. Again, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
I see you, man.